This is the regular meeting of the Mobile City Council, Tuesday, June 28th. Please stand for our invocation led by Father Ugwa and remain standing for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Good and gracious God, may your goodness and love be present among us today. Come bless this council and all the deliberations of this day with unity, hope, and vision. Build in everyone a deep respect for one another. May we heed to the inspired words of St. Paul, everything is lawful, but not everything is beneficial. Everything is lawful, but not everything builds up. No one should seek his own advantage, but that of his or her neighbor. Thank you, Jesus, for being the source of guidance. Amen.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, President Gregory.
Here.
Vice President Richardson.
Here.
Councilmember Manzi.
Here.
Councilmember Small.
Here.
Councilmember Williams.
Here.
Councilmember Daves.
Here.
Councilmember Rich.
Here.
Statement of rules.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
It's good to see you here as we continue meeting in our temporary home away from home. We mentioned in our pre-conference meeting that next week we will begin holding our pre-conferences in our 9th floor meeting room where the council meets regularly anyway. It's just a little bit more convenient as we wait for the auditorium to finish up with its renovation. So if you are planning to come to pre-conference, go ahead and meet upstairs on the 9th floor conference room on the council side of the auditorium. Just a few announcements before we get going. Of course, this is July 4th weekend. Want to remind everyone about that. Battleship Park is where we will have the city's fireworks. The parking on the field actually will open at 4 o'clock. Of course, the Battleship will be open all day for tours as would be normal. The fireworks will begin at 9 o'clock, and that is something, as we know, that the city is spearheading along with some sponsors, so it should be a great show. So again, bring your family out to see the fireworks at the Battleship. And speaking of July 4th, that's Monday. Garbage and trash will not be running on Monday. Wednesday will be the makeup day for garbage, but trash will not have a makeup day, so you'll have to wait for 2 weeks after that if your normal trash collection is on that Monday. Our council rules are very simple. We just asked everyone to please turn off all of your electronic devices. If you come to the podium to speak, you'll have 5 minutes. At the end of 4 minutes, you'll hear the buzzer, which is your indication that it's about time to wrap up and take a seat. If you have questions, please address those to me. I am the chair, and I'll ask the appropriate member of the administration or the council to try to resolve those questions for you at that point. And do remember to give us your name and address for the record. All right, with that, I'll ask Ms. Lambert to get us started.
Communications from the mayor's office. We have Jaquiski Tart. Okay, not here.
Lisa, what was that?
It was on the, they had an announcement about a camp, football camp.
All right, was there anyone here who was planning to come for an announcement with the mayor? He is not here this morning. He has a meeting with the South Alabama Regional Planning Commission, so he had told us earlier he will not be at the meeting today. So nobody's here, Lisa, for that? Okay.
Adoption of the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Monthly financial report.
That looks like a no-go too.
Oh, okay, well, that may be why. Okay. Oh, okay, all right.
I see some.
Well, before we go any further, here they come. I do want to acknowledge that we have a former colleague in the audience today.
That's right.
At first, I thought he was trying to hide from me. But Clint, if you would stand up. This is the Reverend Clinton Johnson, who was one of the founding members, really, of this council back in 1985. Served for many, many years. So it's good to have you in the audience, Clint. Good to see you. Now everybody's here.
My apologies.
Have to talk to the county about those elevators, huh? Right. Go ahead. Oh, and Paul, did you have a finance report? Yeah, really.
Is this the football camp guy?
Yeah.
I apologize for being late. This is the May financial report, 8 months into the fiscal year. As we've seen the last 4 months, sales tax collections remain fairly steady, but there's almost no growth. Collections of sales taxes into all funds for May were actually 1% lower than the same month last year. And for the year to date, we're up about 2.1%, which is less than what was budgeted. We budgeted 2.8%, so we're down about $880,000 below projections. And what we're really seeing is, as we get into the the middle 4 months of the year, just a gently eroding expansion of sales tax base. Looks like a trend, and so we'll have to take that into account as we get ready to present the budget to you for your consideration for 2017. We always compare ourselves to the state of Alabama as a whole because they have a large sales tax base also. They had an interruption during May. They had a degrading of their improvement in May, but they are still up a little over 5% for the year to date over same period last year. So again, we're seeing almost a reverse of what we saw in 2014 and 15, which was our improvement outpaced the state's. Now we're seeing a little bit of a slowdown in that. In the general fund, expenditures remain under control in all the operating departments, which is what we've got to see when we have uncertainties with our revenue collections. We're running 11% under budget for the year, which is phenomenal, and 8% under for the same period last year. So we're actually spending in the largest fund we have less than what we did a year before, which is what we need to continue at least for this period of uncertainty. And I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I don't have,
Any questions?
I don't have a question, but.
You have a statement?
No, not,
okay.
it's something to inquire about. Is it possible to get not so much the information about the state's difference to ours, but just a little statement from your office so that I could link people to your statement about our revenues and what you're seeing right now? I just would like to get that out. Instead of using my words, I'd rather use yours.
Yes, in fact, I'm glad you asked. We have a new project that Laura Byrne is heading. We're going to put some of this, and maybe a little bit more than this, into something that we can publish so we can have it sent to all of you, and if you see fit, you can
I'd like
include it
to.
in your correspondence.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, I think,
Go ahead, Mr.
I'm
Days.
sorry, was Ms. Rich?
Yes.
I didn't mean to interrupt.
Not a problem.
I just wanted to comment on your report, and I think it's certainly important, as you've pointed out, that continued discipline in the general fund is going to be important as we go through this period where it looks like we have very little, it can expect very little growth in our primary sources of revenue. Thank you.
Now, that is correct. And if you recall, for the current year, we actually budgeted getting to the $21 million in capital with having had a good prior year, because we knew about the time we budgeted that we were going to end up with the prior good year. That's not always going to be the case, so we want to make sure that the $21 million is not imperiled.
Right.
And so your comments are absolutely correct.
Thank you.
Anybody else?
Madam President,
Mr. Williams?
in light of what the county commission decided yesterday, is there a timeline on the money that has been set aside for that cause by the city council some 2 years ago?
Yes, sir, there is. It's the agreement that you approved and that the county commission approved is self-effecting. If the property acquisition did not close within 12 months from the date of that agreement, the $1.5 million allocation reverts back to the city.
In what account would it go back to?
Well, it would come back in with the kind of money that it had. It was a capital allocation, so it would go back into the capital fund,
Parks and Recreation.
without being used. So it would be sitting in that same line item in which it appeared.
Okay, thank you.
Just a little bit of a point of clarification, it also will include the interest that was collected during that time.
That is correct.
CJG?
Yeah, that's the same question I had.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, thanks, Paul, appreciate it. See you this afternoon.
We'll go back to communications from the mayor's office.
Yeah, communications from the mayor. Colby, do you have that?
Very briefly, Madam President, the mayor would like to ask for your consideration to have a very special guest who's with us today address the council and the city of Mobile. This young man graduated from Davidson High School, went on to Sanford University. Now he's the starting safety, number 29 for the San Francisco 49ers, Jaquaski Tart. We're very proud to have him back in the city, and we'd like to have him explain to you what he's doing to try to connect, mentor, and help the youth of Mobile.
How y'all doing?
Good morning.
I just really want to give back to the youth, and I'm having this camp on July 9th. It's going to be from 9 to 2 p.m., and registration start at 8, and I would just love to have y'all support.
Where is the camp going to be?
At Sage Park.
At Sage?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. If we can get the poster on a PDF, we can put that in our newsletters as well and help advertise it.
Okay, thank you.
That would be great.
Awesome.
Thank you.
What's the age of the camp and who all invited?
Anyone's invited if they want to come, but it's the age range through 7 to 18.
Oh, 7 to 18. Okay.
Boys and girls, or just
Well,
boys?
I think it's football.
Boys and
It doesn't
I guess
matter.
if they play, yeah.
But
boys and girls, and also it's free. It's a free camp. I'm gonna try to host a free camp every year if I can.
That's wonderful. Cool.
No,
Yeah.
Great.
no pads.
Outstanding.
This is,
be
That's great.
surprised if
Thank
no
you.
girls
Yeah,
until
thank you
they-
so
All right,
much
thank
for
you.
coming.
thank you,
Appreciate
we
it.
really
Thank you all.
appreciate it.
Is that it?
It's awesome.
Thank you.
Appeals, we have requests for waiver of the noise ordinance on July 16th on Marine Street, July 30th on Norwood Drive, July 3rd on Laurel Drive.
So move. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Public hearings today is the public hearing to consider renaming Bayshore Avenue between Spring Hill Avenue and O'Shell Road south to New Shiloh Avenue.
So move.
Second.
Well, this is a
That's
public
public
hearing.
hearing.
Oh, that's right. We haven't made the name. We're jumping the gun. Yeah, we're hitting it hard.
All right, this is a public hearing. So if there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this renaming, please come to the podium. I told him earlier that I just wasn't sure about this, if this is something that we really ought to
I'm
even
Clinton
consider.
Johnson, reside at
He's not listening.
1101 Donaway Drive here in Mobile, Alabama. I pastor the New Shiloh Church, and so I made a request for your consideration of renaming the street. I appreciate Councilman Richardson's urgency in getting the name, but I thought I would come and just say a few things. I don't know if that will be our position. I don't expect there to be. Our church has existed since 1869. We've been located in that area since that time, previously at Tackham and O'Shell Road. We've been at the current site for in excess of 60 years. We are a community-based church. We're open to our community for an array of services that are provided, and we are consistent in the provision of services that we think make an immense difference in the lives of people we're privileged to serve. We have made investments in that community. We recently completed a multi-million-dollar facility. We've improved the previous facility we were in. We purchased a facility down the street from us on Bayshore that we use for community-based programs. We purchased most of the houses, in fact, all of the houses that existed owned by the church on that street. We owned close to 80% of the property on the street. On the west side, on the east side, I own, along with a partner, most of the property on that side. And so I don't expect much opposition. Our church has a rich history. The very first school located in Crichton was developed by our church, and so we've been involved educationally and we're still involved in those areas as well. So I've just come to make those statements and hope that you consider this, and hopefully we can get it renamed, because I really would like to see the church have recognition for its work for these many years.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, again, this is a public hearing, so if there's anyone else who would like to speak to this renaming, please come to the podium.
Madam President, I would just like to say I support this venue 100%.
All right,
We have,
Public-
Mr. Hollis is signed in to speak regarding this. Oh,
I mean, this is a public hearing, so if anybody would like to speak to this, please come to the podium. All right. With that, then the public hearing is over.
Public hearing to consider plan for a TAP grant application for sidewalk improvements along O'Shell Road from Union Avenue to Highland Avenue.
This is a public hearing, so if there's anyone in the audience who would like to speak to this, please come to the podium. All right, with that, the public hearing is closed.
Presentation of petitions and other communications to the council, Jeffrey Jones.
I didn't see him. He's not.
Not here.
Ordinance is held over. 64028, rezone property at 111 Short Texas Street from I-1 to I-2.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolutions held over. 09427, reallocate monies from account to Solid Waste Authority to account trash hauling for receiving, processing, and disposal of residential trash.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Consent resolutions being introduced, 25430 through 6432.
Motion for the suspension of the rules for immediate consideration of resolutions 25430 through 6432.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
25430, authorized easement to Alabama Power Company for underground service for Mars Sewage Lift Station.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
46431, rename Bayshore Avenue between Spring Hill Avenue and O'Shell Road South to New Shiloh Avenue.
So move.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Congratulations on the name of the street.
6432, approve award of special bonus to Tony Rutland and Jerome Roberts as part of the Mayor's Incentive Program.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Resolutions being introduced for the first time, 01433 through 31437.
Resolution 01433 through 31437 would lay over for 1 week by council rules.
With the, are you going to take 31437?
Do need to take the TAP grant.
Okay. Which one, what number?
31,437.
Motion to suspend the rules for immediate consideration of 31437.
Second. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right.
31437, authorize the city to apply for and receive a transportation alternatives grant for sidewalk improvements along O'Shell Road from Union Avenue to Highland Avenue.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Announcements.
We'll start on my right with Mr. Williams.
I knew you were going to do that. One time when I wanted to be the last, but I'm trying to get
Well,
an update.
We can change.
So I may come back in, but I just want to say that we have two 12-year-old baseball teams from Mobile that are in the semifinals, and Alex City, Alex City, how did you call it? What did you say it was, Joel?
Alex City.
Alex City.
Alex City, just up northeast of Montgomery. And they've gone through the district, qualified here locally, and now are competing for the state title. I know that Matthews is currently in their game, their semifinal game, and Mims's game is complete, but I don't have the result. But congratulations to both those 12-year-old teams.
All right. Mr. Small?
Thank you, Madam President. On last Tuesday, we had a community meeting in South DIP at the Brooklyn United Methodist Church. It was a great attendance with the citizens on South DIP. We had talked about different topics such as public safety, litter, also environmental court and capital improvement. The big discussion was among the citizens on South DIP was public safety, more police present in the community. And that's the one thing that we do need to strive about, in just not in South DIP, but in our city in general. I'd like to thank all the citizens and everyone who came out on last Tuesday for this great successful meeting. This is one of the first meetings that we're going to have in our district for the, throughout the year. Plan on having another meeting closer towards the end of the summer. Also on last Saturday, we had a community cleanup pickup 3 at Taylor Park on Baltimore Street. I'd like to thank the marching band, the Taylor Park Cougars, as they call themselves, and also the Taylor Park football team for coming out on last Saturday morning for a good cleanup. We cleaned up from Ann Street, Baltimore Street, Gale Street, and several other streets throughout the community. And I also like to thank Public Works for coming out on yesterday to pick up the trash. And also I'd like to thank the Inner City Mission also. This week we will be going out throughout the district, and we will be announcing the Yard of the Month. So next Tuesday I will be telling you who will be the winner. And again, remember that District 3 is the place where things are happening. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, Mrs. Rich?
Thank you so much. Tonight at 6:30 at the Connie Hudson Senior Center, there is a meeting with the Sugar Creek Neighborhood Association. I'd like to thank our traffic department for having a representative, and also the city consultant with Volkert, Kenny Nichols, will be there to answer questions about traffic management along Hillcrest, which is a big initiative for the district. Also, I'd like to wish everyone a happy and safe 4th of July, which falls on this coming Monday, and also to remind people that lighting fireworks on your own is illegal, and that you should come out to our big event at the Battleship, where the Pops Band will be playing, and make an early afternoon or late afternoon, an all-day event for the fireworks, which I believe are scheduled to go at 9 p.m. Again, traffic will be controlled and monitored, and in the past that was an issue, but I understand it's been well managed at the past events, so come out and be part of that. Hope the weather cooperates, which is out of everyone's control. But again, be safe, be careful, and enjoy our nation's birthday.
All right, Mr. Richardson?
Thank you, Madam President. The Tobinville-Crichton Redevelopment Association meeting will be held this Thursday, June 30th. This is the new 501c3 nonprofit organization that will be spearheading efforts to redevelop Tobinville and Crichton. This group will be meeting at the Tobinville Library, and the meeting will start at 6 o'clock. Ask all citizens in Crichton to please join us for this most important meeting. It's a citizen's opportunity to help determine what they want the future of the community to be. So this is an important meeting for the citizens in both Crichton and Tobinville. Last night, Leaders for Truth and Justice held a mass meeting at the Shiloh Baptist Church in District 1. Pastor Johnson, who just came up and talked to us, is the pastor of that church. More than 1,000 citizens gathered at that meeting last night, and they were concerned about equity in policing. They were concerned about body cameras, and they were concerned about a policy governing backup officers. When should you call for backup officers? Those 3 items surfaced as the most important items at that meeting last night. Was very. I've been here since 1958, and I have not been to any meeting of that magnitude since I've been in Mobile pertaining to a community meeting. It was a very spirited, energetic meeting where everything was done decently and in order, but the citizens were clear about what they want their community to look like. They wanted the same level of policing and respect in Happy Hill as there is in Spring Hill. They want the same level of respect. And hopefully we would get that. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, Mr. Daves?
Thank you, Madam President. We will have a meeting of the City Council Finance Committee today at 3 p.m. in the council conference room on the 9th floor. This is to wrap up the planning for the 2017 capital improvement plan. I also would like to urge all of our citizens to enjoy the 4th of July on Monday. I would ask everyone to remember, as we do enjoy it, the sacrifice that the men who won our independence made to give us the independence and the liberties we enjoy today. It's difficult to place yourself back in those times. We live now in the strongest, most powerful, richest country in the world and have so for the last 60 or 70 years. They were going out to fight at that time what was the strongest, richest, most powerful country in the world, Great Britain, which had a gigantic army, a gigantic navy. They were ill-clothed, ill-equipped, and yet they ended up beating the #1 world power at that time. They made a tremendous sacrifice, and we have enjoyed the fruits of that victory for over 200 years, and I'd ask on Monday that everyone take a few minutes to remember those men. Thank you, Madam President.
All right, thank you. Mr. Manzi?
Yes, Madam President. I had the opportunity on last week to attend and participate in neighborhood association meetings in the Down the Bay, Oakley, and Plateau communities. Appreciate each and every one of the residents who came out to articulate their concerns. And I want you to know that we are working expeditiously to handle those. Some of those issues will be addressed, hopefully, into today's Finance Committee meeting as we finalize the 2017 Capital Improvement Plan, a plan that has really brought to bear a lot of great changes in every community in District 2. And I'm so pleased to get the emails and Facebook posts and acknowledgments of those improvements from citizens as we go to the various meetings and as we travel throughout the city. On Saturday, I had the opportunity to go into the Bottom community, the Bottoms community at the corners of Chinquapin Street for a Taking It to the Streets youth outreach initiative sponsored by Triumph Church there on Chinquapin Street. We had a lot of young people out, a lot of motivational speakers, and I certainly believe there's going to be more of these kinds of initiatives along with what's being done by Mr. Tart and others. We appreciate what you're doing. That's really going to help us eradicate some of the uptick in youth crime that we see here in the city of Mobile. I know it's a daunting task, but we can't take the posture of just lifting up our hands and surrendering. We've got to keep working at it, and so I applaud the leadership there at Triumph Church and others who sponsored that, and I want other organizations that have those kinds of activities, however I can be of assistance, whether it's through my presence or through purchasing something for you to be successful, please let me know. And while he's here, I just want to acknowledge former Council President Clint Johnson, great pastor here in this community, fraternity brother. When I first came to the City Council as a youngster, as a part of the Mobile City County Youth Council, he was a great inspiration, and he continues to be a great inspiration. I just want to publicly acknowledge the role that you played in helping me to get here, the way that you serve with distinction, and thank God for what you're doing there at the New Shiloh Baptist Church.
Yeah, and don't rub it in about how young you are, please, for the rest of us.
Really?
Age is just a number.
All right. Thank you. This past Saturday, I was really pleased to be able to award the first runner-up for the Distinguished Young Woman during the finals on Saturday evening. Commissioner Ludgood made the award to the winner. The winner was from South Carolina. The first runner-up was from Utah. And I'm sure we will be seeing the...
Utah, Alabama?
No, as in Utah, the state, Utah, yeah. So I'm sure during the year we will see the young woman from South Carolina who is the new Distinguished Young Woman come and speak and be a part of many different activities throughout the year, as they always have. So I'll look forward to seeing her. It was a tremendous crowd. Always a great program, and I just appreciate everything that the volunteers do. Did have a little bit of a surprise when the executive director, I guess she had already announced it, but it was new to me, is leaving. She's resigning or retiring from the DYW, so hopefully we'll be meeting the new executive director soon, and they will continue that program. Also, coming up July 9th is my community cleanup in the Mobile Terrace neighborhood. We will be beginning and ending at McCants Chavers Park. We have a great lineup of fun events following the cleanup. McGruff, the crime dog, will be there. A fire truck will be there as well, so that the kids can look at the fire trucks and see what it's like to sit in the driver's seat and meet some of the firefighters. We'll also have the mascot from Bay Bears, and we will have hot dogs and drinks and potato chips and just a great day at the park following the cleanup, so we look forward to that. Also, just kind of piggybacking what Mr. Richardson had mentioned, the meeting that was last night, well, prior to the meeting last night, we also had an opportunity, all of the council as well as the entire legislative delegation, some members of the faith-based community and some other interested participants were able to meet yesterday in the multi-purpose room to go over some questions and get information about the recent police officer-involved shooting. So I appreciate the mayor and Police Chief James Barber in particular for coming and answering those questions for us. You know, the more information, the better, so that we know what's going on, and we just appreciate them briefing us whenever, you know, it's possible. So good that we can share that information. Last but not least, I do want to thank Dan Otto, Matthew Capps, Bill Harkins, and Colby Cooper. I've had an issue with one of my areas trying to get the right-of-ways mowed, and I had a gentleman who had called several times, and I just thought maybe he was being a little too particular, but I went out and looked, and sure enough, it was something that we needed to go back and relook at and remow. And Matthew Capps went out and looked at the area last night, as I did as well, and we both agreed, yeah, we need to get that tractor back out here, and sure enough, they're out cutting it today. It involves a slope mower as well, so some areas of the city are a little bit more difficult to get to, and when the equipment breaks down, it's harder to get out there and do the kind of mowing that we really know we should be able to do and want to do. So I just appreciate the patience of the folks who live out there, but thank you to everyone in the administration for getting back out there and taking care of this, because we want our city to look nice and be manicured as best as possible. And Mr. Richardson has one more.
Yes, this is in conjunction with Councilman Dave's announcement regarding the 4th of July. For all of you with the smart cameras out there, this is a part of history. Lest we forget, Crispus Attucks was the first person to die in the American Revolution. He looked just like me. You won't find him in your history books. I dare you to Google him. Crispus Attucks was the first person to die in the American Revolution for freedom.
We have a lot of good history lessons at this council meeting. Mr. Banzer, you have something else?
Yes, ma'am. Just briefly, I just noticed that he was here. Mr. Jim Walker, will you stand? I don't know if you all are aware of this, but Jim was extremely instrumental in bringing Roundhouse, the startup space, a new incubator here to the city of Mobile, but principally in District 2. It's on Church Street, and he got the gentleman, he started, I believe, what city was that he started in? Opelika. And he went and convinced them of all the other places that they could do an expansion, that the city of Mobile was the destination for them to expand, offered the space for them to come, and I believe they're up and running, if I'm not mistaken. But I just wanted to acknowledge that's another avenue for our young people that they will have to bring their ideas and have someone work with them from the first stage in order to hopefully open new businesses here in the city of Mobile. Just wanted to acknowledge your efforts in that regard. Thank you.
And one more event that's this weekend leading up to the 4th of July is the Oath of Enlistment, a unique dedication ceremony called the Recruit. That will be out at the Battleship on Saturday. Starts at 10 o'clock. Should be a really wonderful program. Hope to see a lot of folks out there. All right, anybody else? All right, with that then, we are adjourned.